we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, the beauty of having very knowledgeable people, resource people here in the studio, allows me the flexibility to move from one current event to another. We have to remember that there's just so many issues going on. I'm trying, like our guests, we're trying to figure out exactly what reforms the president's talking about. Not that I want to just put him down, but really, I'd like to identify the reforms. The GOCC's coming up with 30+ billion for the first time, putting it in the National Treasury. Hey, that's pretty good. But I'd like him to make his speeches to the poor and tell them about the growth rate, the 7,500, 8,000, up to 10,000 of the stock exchange, which is now faltering. The GDP, which has just fallen for the first quarter, down to 6.2 or 5.9 even, and whether that's going to climb up or not. Inflation, if it's does stay at 2.3, when we've just felt in the last 4 or 5 years an average of 4 to 4.5. Let's go to our guests. Where are we going with everything that's happening? We've got the biggest issue where threat of war, no less nuclear war, and a holocaust between the two biggest countries in the world are now showing down. I mean, in the old days, as they said, di ba sa mga cowboy, I'll meet you at Tombstone, di ba? Doon tayo magbabarilan. Ang kawawa yung Tombstone. Di na bali yung dalawang nagbabarilan, isa mamamatay, isa mabubuhay. Pero yung Tombstone, pag banat ng bala yan, may mga tatamaan, collateral damage. Yeah. Tayo ang collateral damage. Where is that going? Ikaw, do you fear that?
Well, let me tell you this as an aside. There is a lot of things going on in Camiguin. You know why? The Virgin Mary in our town was crying with blood. Crying with blood. And instead of the hands being together, it's open. Okay. The same thing is happening in a town in Misamis Oriental, Binuangan. The same image of St. Mary crying also and open hands. The same also in a town in Cebu. The problem, Harry,
tinatakot mo naman ako eh.
No, I'm telling you. The interpretation of our people is this, that before the Second World War, the same three figures in these three places were doing the same thing.
So, premonition, mukhang magpuputo ka na nga dyan sa
Ayun na
track
nga,
list.
that's what they think.
Oh my gosh. Ikaw, Attorney Manuel, may magagawa pa ba tayo?
That's probable, given the recent developments in that area and given China's hard-headedness and resolve to really take over the area for its economic expansion and military showdown with the United States. I really don't know if the U.S. is really committed towards protecting us in case trouble breaks out in the South China Sea or the West Philippine Sea, as we call it. However, we have to be prepared because we are not really in control of the situation. China is a big military power. It's an economic might. It is, you may say, what they're doing is crazy. Yes, probably that's right. But we don't control China.
Is it our fault that China has gotten this far? Is it our fault or our hands tied? Is it our fault that we bring the Americans in? Is it our fault parang inuudyok natin parang kumbaga mga manok, di ba? Yung sa sabong, pinag-aawayan. Is it our fault? Is it the President's fault and his cabinet and his people that this situation is now upon us?
No. The fault started with the CONCOM.
Well, going way back,
Yeah, in the old Constitution.
You're talking 70s.
Yes, in the old Constitution, the 35 and the Marcos Constitution, in the definition of national territory, there is historic claims.
I read that just yesterday.
Okay,
historic claims, iba pa yun eh.
The historic claims was removed in the Korean Constitution. It's also now the operative constitution, and that's the basis of the claim of these countries.
Over those islands.
Over those islands. Imagine they are claiming now Scarborough Shoals.
Oh, Scarborough Shoals.
These shoals where people in Zambales fish. They're claiming, China is claiming this
with the 9-dash line, which doesn't make
Shoals.
sense.
Malaysia is claiming Sabah because of the omission of the words historical claims. Yeah. You see, it started in 1986.
But with now, in 2012, we had 2 or 3 fishing boats there and one military boat, and they were just beginning. But hindi tayo nagpadala ng tao, hindi tayo pumunta doon. Hindi tayo naglagay ng tao, hindi natin, tama nga naman, ang lugar na ayaw mo, hindi mo pupuntahan. Parang kotse yan hindi mo ginagamit, hindi mo gagamitin, nabubulok, mananakaw lang yan, makukuha ng iba.
Let us disabuse our mind that the area is really a landmass. Much of the areas are submerged in water. So you cannot put people there. These are shoals, these are reefs, these are just rocks, and most of the time they are underwater. But China is doing the unthinkable. It is reclaiming.
Nag-reclaim
Yes, and putting a lot of probably sand and then soil later, and then cement the area, and then put a lot of military installations there. So that's really what is happening now. And the Philippines cannot afford to do that because it will compromise not only our position in the case that we filed against China, but also we will be in violation of international norms if we do that.
So
plus the fact that we don't have that capacity.
So inevitable to nangyayari ngayon.
How could you stop?
Wala tayong magagawa.
How would you stop China from doing that? Because they have asserted in recent days that even the U.S. cannot stop them from doing what they are doing right now. They will continue with the reclamation. They'll be doing with what they are doing right now. And, well, the only thing that they denied is that they don't have weapons there. But the Americans
may dalawa na,
said
may nakita sila.
that they saw, based on satellite images and the Poseidon surveillance,
they saw 2.
That there are mobile weapons placed in those areas.
But alam mo, kung makbakan man yan, yun I know. Not because of Hollywood and all the movies that are great, tsaka mga galing na Amerikano, Delta Force. Alam mo, China will enter another century of humiliation. Kung kalaban lang nila Amerika, ay, tingin ko naman, alam nila yan. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. China has suffered the last century of humiliation. Now, they're becoming prosperous again. I mean, surely, Xi Jinping knows he's not going to bring his country into humiliation again because they will get pulverized. Of course, tayong collateral damage.
You're correct.
Diba?
Because many of the major corporations in the United States of America have plants in China.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, America owes a lot to China, in dollar terms.
Yes.
So
1.2 trillion.
the Americans cannot really afford to disappoint China.
But
The
vice
only way they
versa.
will fight back, minus the NATO-type agreement, is that if Americans will get killed in this area, and the Americans will fight for the Americans. If it's only Filipinos who will get killed, they don't care. Remember during the Second World War, we were the ones killing for the Americans. And then after the war, Japanese, Germans, Italians entered the United States of America with automatic 59-day visa, and the ones who killed themselves for the Americans have to line up from 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the evening, and out of every 100 Filipinos, only 25 go through. That's how good a friend is the United States of America, based on our own experience. Why are we scared of these people? Maybe we should consider other options.
Are there other options? Because I always read about that. We should consider. No, I hear this a lot also. What other options? Does this president have these options? Has Foreign Affairs even bothered to look for options? Gasmin, we just saw him shaking hands, talking, feeling great, reporting back to the Philippines, mga Amerikano, hawak natin.
I don't believe that. As a matter of fact, many legislators in this country have been demanding from the United States of America for so many decades for a NATO-type defense treaty. Meaning, the response of the United States of America should be automatic. In the case of the former USPI defense agreement, they have to go through the constitutional process, and that takes time, if at all. Takes time. Now, the Defense Secretary in Honolulu of the United States
Yes.
of America has been saber-rattling,
Yes.
saying that they will not allow these activities of China.
Hanggang
to
doon lang yan,
continue.
saber-rattling lang yan. Hanggang doon lang yan.
Hanggang lang, dyan lang yan.
Salita lang yan.
Unless Americans
May
die in the process. We'd like to see the Americans dying first, so that the American government should be involved in the West Philippine Sea. The Filipinos should stay away from getting killed, because it will not bring the Americans
So in
here
other words,
in our
huwag na muna
defense.
natin abalayin ng China intrusion. Abalayin na lang natin yung BBL. Kasi pamimigay na di ba? Correct me if I'm wrong. For now, huwag na muna natin prioritize yun. Ang BBL muna. Itigil na natin, in other words.
Itigil na.
Itigil na.
Itigil na ang BBL. Kung hindi itigil na ang BBL, itigil na si Pinoy.
Itigil.
That's an analysis, ha? That's not, that's not an advocacy.
Take Pinoy out, wala naman tutulak sa BBL, no? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Walang tutulak.
Walang tutulak sa
As a matter of fact, Harry, no, let me tell you this. In the airport, I'd like to make this point. These are high arms official. They are all against the BBL. According to them, it's just a money game. As a matter of fact, if the BBL will be in place, they'll also kill each other.
Ganun din yun.
For the money, oh. And even Hataman,
Yeah, si Governor.
she was telling me, even Hataman is against the BBL. And the whole official dome, as a rule, of the arm. But they're saying something else in public. This is a game of let's pretend.
Why?
You
Because
see?
the elections are coming?
Yeah. And they also need money from Pinoy.
But why do we allow our presidents to begin with to have so much authority and hold all this money when we know it's a source of corruption and it's an autocracy wherein we have a democracy?
The problem is with Congress. Congress has been very accommodating to the president since 2010. And despite all the unconstitutional acts that he had committed, Congress is still loyal to him because the president has the numbers. That's the reality. But if they start thinking about the country, then they'll probably wake up from this nightmare
But legislation
and
to
stop
begin
doing destruction, further damage to this country.
But legislation to begin with, you not be given projects and money. Dapat legislation yan, mag-aaral kayo, di ba?
No.
Sana the executive side, pwede sa local government.
Harry, I'm telling you this. This question has been asked in social media.
Yes.
I've asked it a number of times. Is it true that the government or Pinoy received $750 million from the Malaysians in order to put the BBL in place?
And the answer is?
I would like them to have an answer. Number two, it's in the grapevine that Rufus, along with other congressmen,
50 million in projects, 1 million in cash.
before the hearing, left for Switzerland.
Switzerland.
That when they came back, other congressmen joined them in a cruise. Is it true? I'd like to know. The palace no answer to these questions. That's their trouble there. That's
They're
their trouble.
good in denying. Huh?
Yeah.
Is it their trouble or it is our trouble?
No, they have a genius for denial, and we have a genius for cowardice.
We are going to have to end the show. This has been a funny, if not weird, exasperating hour. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much. We're going to have to end it. I hope you sort through the comedy, the, how do you say it, the double speak if necessary, and the sarcasm that was pronounced and brought to you. The idea here is for you to have more critical thinking. Now, our problem, your problem, not just ours or mine, is the power of the vote is with you. And they keep saying the Filipino is getting smarter. Are we? Or better yet, why don't we just make the exercise easier and put into Malacanang everyone that's in GMA 7 and ABS-CBN? That way, there will be no need for media because they'll all be up there. Maybe the game players up there will switch places and go to ABS-CBN till the next election. Maraming salamat po. I hope you've enjoyed our program. Thank you. You are what you watch.